The Australian legal industry, like the private practice legal industry across the world, is in desperate need of change. The law will change more in the next 5 years than it has in the last 50, I think. And the critical area is in the way that we present the value proposition. So the business has been fantastic over years and on very, very traditional models, hourly rates and so forth. But that value proposition has come unstuck in recent times with the rise of in-house counsel and a number of other things. And so what needs to happen is we need to look at how we deliver the legal services, what we're charging for them, and then also what's the perception of how those legal services are received by the client, and what is the risk, and are we delivering according to the risk? Is it priced according to the risk for the customer? So the most critical area that we need to change is in the value proposition. The most likely drivers of change in the Australian legal industry will be twofold. Firstly is the new entrants that are coming into the market. The market has seen that the new entrants come from the global players, such as Norton Fullbright is one of those players, but we've also seen, particularly in the UK, the accountants come back in force. So PwC is now very strong with PwC Legal in the UK. They've just announced that they're going to really push that business proposition here in Australia with some former senior partners from King & Wood Mallisons. So I think it's clearly the new entrants, it's the globals, it's the accountants, and then the second aspect is technology. Now, I'm a technology lawyer, so that would be the world that I would say was going to be the most significant. But what we've got is the ability of technology to disrupt exists in all areas of human endeavour, and it will absolutely disrupt legal, and it will happen faster than people realise. And whether it's the likes of LegalZoom in the US or LawPath in Australia doing lower end work, in company and corporations, trademarks, simple agreements, or whether it's different ways of researching using things like Lex Machina or Revel Law, those sorts of players, things will change, and it's important for law firms to embrace that technical change. And the most important thing to think about is Stanford now has its law school working together with its business school and its design school to create legal disruptors. And so if you've got smart people like that thinking of ways to impact your business, then you really do need to sit up and take note. There are two industries that legal can learn the most from. One is the bad story, which is media, and the other is the positive story, which is consulting. So media. Media, like law, is an information monopoly, and the internet is the natural enemy of the information monopoly. So it used to be the case that if you wanted to hear about the news, you would go to journalists or the Herald or major newspapers. People don't do that as much now because everyone can publish, because the internet has enabled that. Law equally, we have a lot of information and we're able to give that and in return for money. So that's our business model. But as the internet erodes away at that information monopoly, we will need to change with that. So that's the sort of cautionary tale that we need to learn from. On the positive side, I think we can look to consulting, and we've been lucky to see the consulting firms, because consulting firms have been disrupted earlier than legal has been. And so by analogy, I guess, consulting is like the music industry compared to the film and TV industry, where the music got disrupted earlier, and so film and TV were able to look at that and figure out business models to counter piracy and so forth. So we can look and see what's happening to consultancy, and The world of big consultancy is under great stress right at the moment because of disruption, because of technology. And so they've been looking at adjacencies, so finding adjacent markets where they can buy new businesses, and Deloitte is a prime example of that. They've made 3 acquisitions in the last 18 months in adjacent markets to build out their product offering. So I think it's critical to look at those adjacent aspects, and then they're partnering. So they've partnered with Worley Parsons, a big engineering firm, to provide services in engineering, which traditionally they hadn't. And so I think law should look at that, and we need to think about who we partner with. And I think that, whether you're partnering with adjacent markets or technology companies, it will be the law firms that can do that partnering the best that will win in the long run.